Hello guys, we're back with another video on the podcast series. We have another awesome guest on us coming off a very hot win of a GGP recently. We have with us PWCQ, he finished in the top with a zombie list. PWCQ 59, he finished in the top with a, I'm not sure what we call this one, a Pac-Man, Warrior, Burn, Hybrid, awesome list that he put together. And the GGP Maryland champion with a, Nova can correct me on this, but a hand control warrior anti-meta list. It's very, very, very cool. And the team captain of the Otherworld War League team. We have with us Novaethos. Nova, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. How have you been, mate? How's the last week been since this GGP win?
Jesse, thanks so much for having me on. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a big fan of the show. I think I listened to at least a little bit of every episode. But yeah, the week's been good. It's just kind of surreal to win the GGP. Not only was it the first time I ever won like a serious tournament, but it's also the first time I've topped the GGP. So that was really, really cool. And yeah, it's just been just a super great week. I feel like a lot of people are excited about Spice and what it can do, and the format's in a really good place right now.
Hell yeah, and congratulations on that win. It was a awesome showing. What was your record on the day?
It was 8-1.
8-1, yes, that's a really nice record. Since we're so hot off the GGP, I wanted to, strike while the pan was hot on this other side of it. Give us an event run through, man. How was it? Did you have to travel? What were your matchups on the day? Just how was your experience as a whole?
So I live about like an hour and a half from the venue, so it wasn't too bad. I know people were flying in from all over the country to play, so shout out to them. But yeah, I was asking in like the server chat for the tournament, like, does anyone have a third Yugioh break? I couldn't find one. And if you noticed, that wasn't like a way to distract anyone or anything. I don't even think anyone picked up on that. But I changed what I was playing like at the last second. I built this list like literally the night before, just like sipping some wine with my lovely lady, and we were just like talking about like what might be good against like a pretty turbo heavy field, because we knew that like Alvarado was going to be there, Insidious, AJT, and his whole crew, Jay Harris, like lots of other people. There's so many people like from War League there, and just like a lot of strong turbo players. That's kind of where I decided to switch the list. Originally, I was going to play like one of my classic zombie lists, with like a Chaos Thunder Dragon integration, but decided to switch it up. And I was glad I did, because it worked out. But yeah, on terms of the day itself, it was, I didn't have any expectations, because I literally had never played the list before. But I lost one round of Swiss to Fungus, who I ended up playing in the final, and got the run back, which felt good. I had a bit better read on his list when we played the second time. But yeah, the deck was just performing really well. I think, I was also drawing pretty well, which always helps. But I think that probably I played a really intense semifinal versus Alvarado in the top 4. That was a really interesting match. There was a part in game 3 that was a bit, I will say, I played a bit recklessly. So what happened basically was, it was like I had 2 back row set, and I had like a Kaiku up and a Reaper in defense, and he had 2 back row set, and he was at like 2200 and I was at like 2500. And so I was like, okay, like I can smell like blood in the water, like I could have this. So I attacked with Kaiku direct to bring it down to like around 400, I think, but he had a Saku, and I solemned it without really kind of thinking. I think I got tunnel visioned in the moment, and it actually brought me within a ring range. So if his other set was the ring, then I would just lose on the spot. But it luckily wasn't. It was actually a set upstart, which he was actually using to play around ring because he's just the world champion. He makes plays like that. But luckily I was not punished, and the attack got through, and I think that ended up working out for me. But as soon as the match finished, AJT comes up behind me. He's like, "Bro, that was the craziest all of you just did. Like, I can't believe you just ripped that." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even. I barely even noticed. Like, I didn't even consider that possibility." And yeah, it had been a long day of playing, and I kind of felt bad, or I didn't feel bad, but like, sometimes when so many good players are watching you, like you kind of feel like you have to play super optimally. But at the end, Alvarado was like really nice. He was like, "Yeah, like to win a tournament, you don't have to play 100% optimally. Like it just doesn't always have to be the case." And I was like, "Okay, like I feel a bit better." So yeah, that was definitely. I think a lot of people were probably pulling for him to win, and I kind of escaped out there as like the underdog. But it was a great tournament. I learned a lot, and shout out to everyone who competed and traveled. It was really good to see everyone from the Warrior League there.
Yeah, man, and again, massive congratulations, because that was like your tournament going 8-1, and then into the stacks field that you had. Long day playing, playing 9 matches back to back, fatigue, good players all around, versing good players. It's a really really impressive performance. Nova. Now this deck list, we have to talk to the people about this deck list. Do you want to give a run through? Of the cards in it, what's in it, what was your ideas behind it? I know you mentioned you were building it for a turbo heavy field, and some of the deck choices that I can see in it definitely show that you're preparing for a anti-turbo list, but I can also still see this having a good performance against things like Warrior and such. Give the people a run through, mate. We'll have the deck list pop up on the screen. But yeah, give us a run through card for card. If there's any points that you want to speak about a bit more, definitely expand on them. And I have a few questions myself at the end. But yeah, give the people a bit of a run through of this list.
Yeah, I designed this in mind as you said to beat Turbo. So that's why there's a lot of design choices to reflect that. I'll start with kind of the 3 spies. I think that makes sense when playing to Minecon, because you kind of always want to get that plus there. Spies also, this is going to be like a bit of a non-linear explanation, but I'll do my best to keep it in a sequence.
Yeah, no, right.
So the spies do really well with Minecon, and they also pair well with Saborg, giving you more tribute fodder, and they also pair really well with the Goblin. Because if your opponent tries to swing, and they flip up the spy and they have a breaker swing into it or a tribe, and you have Goblin up, they're gonna lose a card from their hand. It's actually this is pretty good. Never came up. That exact interaction never came up in the tournament, but I was hoping it would. Yeah, breaker is pretty standard. There's no tribe. I didn't play tribe because I looked at Nate Dogg's return list, and I noticed that he didn't play a tribe. I don't think Dingo played tribe in his World's winning list either with return, and just was comparing to other decks with Saborg. And I think Saborg can, the same way that tribe can pop 2 spies, Saborg can do the same thing. So I didn't really miss it, but also I didn't really play control, so it could be something to put on the side. Then we have Songon, which searches Reaper, Moth, Spy, Mataza sometimes. Actually, I searched Mataza quite a bit off Songon. That's pretty good. And yeah, 3 Reaper is definitely unorthodox, but it really just pairs well with what the deck's trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. You can Minecon your opponent's monster, and even if it's a Songon, you can still get a card from their hand if you want to go for that push. And it just also pairs super well with Zaborg. This deck originally actually was more of a zombie pile. I was running Regenerating Mummy, and I was I think Turtles. I didn't want to run Koki and Zaborg. I thought that was way too bricky. But it was just too many zombies trying to do too much. So I took out the zombie package and I replaced it with the warrior package, and it was definitely for the better. I really just love the ability of Book of Life to get Reaper back is super strong. So I was hoping for that to happen when I was, in my original idea of this deck. But I never was really missing a way to get Reaper back too much because since you're on 3, like they kind of just hop in your hand when you need them, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, Reaper pairs great with Goblin. You can hit for 2. It's like quite strong.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, one Kaiku. Again, just like this deck's all about chip damage. That's why we have the Mataza as well, and just ways to push for the Kaiku's effect is so good when you can get it off, but some gets walled by Spy. But if you're able to get off a clean Kaiku, like it can really be game changing against Turbo. We play the one Moth to kind of the same reason Warrior can play one Moth to get rid of it, but it's also just such a good card. And yeah, Tuzaborg I mentioned. They really just Zaborg was so strong during this tournament. Actually, I mean, I did play a lot of Turbo, but this card's so good. It's really, really strong. I even in my top 8 match versus Kenny, I sacked my own BLS for a Zaborg to go for a game shot. It was worth it. And yeah, then I have a weird Warrior lineup. DDS, I think maybe Exiled should be in that place after playing the deck for a bit. Sabire was really good because it can also, hit over a Breaker and trigger Goblin or something like that. Mataza was actually so good that what I didn't realize until I started playing the deck more is that since we're playing Spy, and then Spy gets knocked out of the game, like Mataza becomes a lot stronger because it can hit over the remaining Decos, Songons, Moths, and stuff like that. So it can actually, it was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. And then play Knight and DD Warrior Lady, which are kind of standard. I considered playing Green Kappa. Is kind of similar why the Zing is in there. The opponent sets the hand like Green Kappa and Zing. Zing was overperformed this tournament. But yeah, I'll stop there in case you have any questions.
No, it's yeah, it's cool. When the more I look at it, the more I can see like lots of like interesting like synergies in it. Like you've got access to a Warrior toolbox. I even wonder if the Exiled's even needed because you do have the, you've got the 2 knocks, the 2 mind controls, 2 Zaborgs with lots of monsters that'll be floating around to get them on the field. The Call of the Haunted. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with the list. And like that Robin Goblin, that could actually you're running it as a one of, but that looks like it could just absolutely pop off at times. Like you mentioned with the Spy, imagine a Mataza attacking in for 2 direct attacks with Robin on the field. Reaper doing the same thing. Like there's lots of there's lots of cool synergies here where you can see the deck can just hurt the opponent. That was going to be my main question. How were the 2 mind controls and how was the Zing? And you already answered how the Zing went, and it was a great choice for the day. How were those 2 mind controls as well?
They were good, but I'll be honest, like I didn't play Warrior once, so I think I got lucky there. That's the thing too. I think the reason I did so, I mean, it is what I prepared for, but I played 9 out of the 9 matches, 5 of them were Turbo. So cool. I think having the Minecon in the main deck was just really great. Especially, I got really aggressive playing with the Spies. I would just Minecon and then pretty much always summon my Spy in attack mode and just get after it because. Unless I had like a Zaborg in hand or something. But yeah, they were really quite good. They really paired great with Reaper. And I was never... I never felt like I bricked on one. So yeah, shout out to the Minecon main deck. I don't think it was as good as Zing was. Zing straight up just won me match. It was way too... like it versus Kit in the last round of Swiss and versus Alvarado, both game 1s, I got it off and it just won me the game straight up. So I think it's a card that, especially when not expected, it's one of the strongest draft cards. But that's just my take on it. My other, the list you mentioned, my zombie topping list also had Zing in the main from that Patreon a long time ago. So it's been such a good card for me.
Yeah, it's cool as, and it's Yeah, but showing up again, I wonder if it's coincidence or not. Like Zing's a really cool card. And the list, it actually reminds me of when I was speaking to Adam on a podcast on his episode about his philosophy going into these tournaments. And he likes to hedge heavily for the most likely matchup. And then, the side plan to counter, the other things. And it looks like you've done that, and it's paid off. Like you said, 9 matches, 5 turbo opponents. You've got a deck that is built to beat turbo here. And honestly, I'd be really curious to see how this went against Warrior, because if you've only got around the same amount of bricks as another list would usually have, you're only running the 1 dust shoot, 2 knocks, 2 mind controls, but you still have 3 spies, 3 reapers, DD Assailant, Zombira. There's still lots of good stuff. It would be very interesting to see how this paired up against Warriors. Nova.
Yeah, I would love to know too.
Yes, you have to get it, run it some more, I reckon, and see, because I think there could be something here. It looks really, really cool. And how is the side deck? So give us a quick run through of the side. How'd you come up with some of those choices? And were there any cards that were the main high performers, or the main cards that were coming in throughout the tournament that were doing well?
Yeah, I pretty much brought in the walk. I never used, didn't play burn. Smashing I brought in occasionally. The exile I brought in pretty much every every game too, because I felt like Zombiras were going to be there. I felt Kaikus were going to be there. I thought siding into control to get rid of Thousand Eyes. So pretty much always brought it in game 2. That's I think you're right. I don't think it needs to be in the main, but I think it's a pretty good card. Pretty good card in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's just a part of the Warrior toolbox. The 2 Sakus I also brought in very frequently because again, same reasons. It's good against when they'll bring in the Kaikus and Zombiras too. Just kind of, and it was good against Sook. I've hit Sook with Saku a bunch of times. I mean, that's a reason to put it in the main deck. But I feel like going second, when I was going second with this deck, I really just wanted to keep my monsters on the field to set up for as a board play. And so Saku helped enable that a lot. Dust Shoot I brought in occasionally when I would lose game 1, which didn't happen very often. But yeah, it's going first. It's such a strong card. Brought in for a lot of game 3s. Azura, I don't think I brought in once, except once I played RGT, and I brought it in against that.
Yep.
The 2 soldiers, and I didn't play Warrior, so didn't bring in the Cypher Soldiers or Kinetic, however you will call them. The Roar and the Jalgan I brought in versus the RTT match I played, and they actually did great. Shout out to, I'm glad I included them. And then the second Zing, I think that was for Warrior, and I never played Warrior. And then had Archer, Dust Tornado, and Book of Moon, which were all. I didn't play. I didn't bring either of those cards in very much either. So there's still a lot of flexibility in the side deck too. I think the main issue this deck has, what might have against Warrior, is just lack of strong lights. Because you might have the instinct to side out the boards for the Cypher Soldiers or something like that. But then your lights are down to 3. So that's something in the side plan I think needs to be figured out. I was thinking for a return deck, what do they do for that? And they already play Angel in the main, so it's a bit easier. For this deck, it's not as easy to do that.
Very good point too. Yeah, that'll be a fun thing to work out. The list overall, man. You've cooked, and you've cooked the tournament, and amazing work. Anyone who's watching this, if you have any further questions about the deck, just post them in the comments below, and I'll let Nova know when I get a notification that they're there, and he can jump on and give some further thoughts on any extra questions you guys may have. Now, Nova, people I was watching the stream of the GGP. I watched the whole thing. People were even addressing you over the chat as the zombie guy, the zombie king. Thoughts on zombies as a whole? You've topped with zombies in the past. even on the format library ladder recently, I lined up with you a few times, and you're on zombie for a majority of them. Like, you've been cooking with zombie. What are your thoughts on zombie as a whole? Where do you think the deck's situated right now? Do you see this, being a really good option for people to be playing at the moment?
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to you and shout out to everyone who was in my corner during the stream. I watched it back after the event, and it was just really cool to see everyone from War League and from the community in there. So shout out to you all for sure. But yeah, for zombies, yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, zombies, I don't know. I've been playing the deck for 3 years. I'm crazy enough to keep trying out everything possible. And I recently been making it into like a combo deck, which I think I lined up with you against, with just the 2 Cyber Dart Morphing Jar, DMOC, and like double Costin, which I almost brought that deck too to the GGP, but that deck is like I've been working on Grumple with it, and it can really do well. Honestly, like I think Book of Life is obviously the really good card in the mid game. People like the classic zombie strategy is to like pitch it off, Tribute to the Doomed or something. Like I tried Regeki Break before, and it's good, but it's just more of a mid range type of deck that I think. I don't know. It's tricky to play, I would say. So is the combo deck for sure. Especially when the deck plays like a lot of play a lot of bricks. Like you play like BLS and you play 2 Koki and you play DMOC, and the deck can really just do horribly at certain times. So we're still trying to figure it out. But I honestly think Book of Life is one of the 3 top zombie cards. I'd say the 3 top zombie cards are Reaper, Koki, and Book of Life. I think Turtle is overrated, to be honest. It's just a recruiter. I know it can recruit Koki, but like the good players will still play around it at the end of the day. So I've been trying to experiment with builds that don't necessarily include Turtle, but do include those 3 key zombie cards of Reaper and Koki and Book of Life. So I think it's still situated where people expect it to be, which is like a B or C tier deck, and honestly, I totally acknowledge that it's there. Like I didn't pull up with zombies and win this GGP. I did have zombies in the list because I know Reaper's really good, but that's kind of where I kind of think it's at.
No, cool. That makes sense. I recall even one of the choices you made with a list you were playing recently was the 3 Book of Moons. I'm not sure if that was in the main or just access to them in the 55. But they definitely played a big part in protecting those bigger guys. Like, if you're getting into those mid-late games, and you had all these big guys on the field with like multiple book access, it was just protecting them really well. And I did notice that your builds recently have been a bit different than the standard sort of warrior list that you'd see just on like the ladder. And overall, it was actually quite tough to beat. I think it's an interesting deck in terms of you get to also play some turbo hate cards like the Book of Life, like you mentioned, and the Reapers and things like that. But also still have a decent-ish like warrior matchup as well. Like you've just got big guys and recruiters and Reapers and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm personally curious to see where zombies gets taken over the next while. Hopefully you can keep cooking with it amongst some other cool things.
Oh, trust me, I will. It's like so fun to just try. But yeah, no, it's we played some crazy matches recently on the ladder. Those are a lot of fun. But yeah, there were three Book of Moon in the main deck. I know exactly what sequence you're talking about, and I was like, that's when I realized it was actually the card's quite good in zombies because it can protect Koki from Sork and Snatch and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And they're like the only cards that can really hurt it, because what's Turbo got that's coming over it next?
Yep.
Got basically BLS is the thing that can hurt you. And
even basically BLS, yeah.
And even then you can just attack into that thing and clear it out. It's pretty cool. No, awesome. Yeah. So a lot of people, I wanted to ask you this, there's a lot of people out there, like if you're just outside of War League play, there's a lot of people who verbal about like the two deck meta and the format solved and everything like this. You've been playing at the top tables. You're in War League. You just won a GGP with some off meta strategies. What is your advice to players who might not like the two main decks in the format, like Warrior and Turbo? Well, they might just be more casual players, but are also interested in playing, competitively as well. What do you have any advice for them in terms of building these unique strategies? They have a unique strategy that they want to, improve upon and play at different tournaments. What's your advice to these sort of people who are like, I don't like the format overall, like I do like it, but I'm sick of these two main decks and I want to be able to, play and win with another deck. Do you have any advice to those people?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts there. It's a great question, Jesse. That was a really good one. I think first you gotta be okay with losing, because a lot of lists I've made, they require a lot of testing, and I don't know. Everyone plays the format for a different reason, and I'd say that it's a spectrum between competitiveness and fun. Now, I shouldn't say that you can't have fun. Like, some people have fun by winning, and I totally get that, and I think that's super valid. But I just want to point out that if you take the spice path, you are not gonna win as much. I know that I was at the bottom of the ladder for like a long time. I still am, bottom of the rankings, and that's just because I just love to play random stuff, and some of the replays that I think are gonna play during the video are kind of testament to that. But yeah, I think so. You got to be crazy enough to do that. But at the same time, the flip side of the coin is I think you have to be at least somewhat close to the metagame in terms of at least understanding what's out there, because you're not going to be able to beat the best players on the best decks if you don't know what's happening. So I think, no one's ever seen me enter a tournament with Turbo, and I never will, but on my War League team, I'm playing it all the time, helping my team test. I'll admit it. Because it helps me learn how to play against the deck by playing the deck. And shout out to Dilf for that. He finally convinced me. He's like, yeah, if you play the deck, you know exactly what's in the 40 and what could be in the 55 and how to strategize against that. So it's actually it was a great piece of advice from my friend Dilf to try that. And yeah, and that's also kind of where that Warrior Lakuta list came from. I was like, okay, I know Warrior's really good. I'm obviously gonna add my own flair to it, but at the end of the day, it was still a Warrior deck doing Warrior things. So I definitely think that you have to be attuned close to the metagame and understand what's going on there to really have success with rogue stuff. I think they're kind of two sides of the same coin. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, but I definitely think it's true from my experience.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I think it's be enjoy the process in terms of don't get too hurt over a loss, because you'll be testing out. You're going to have to go through the reps of testing out the new deck, and also the better your understanding is of the current meta, the better your ability is to essentially cook up a strategy that can beat them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and the last thing I'll say, and this is something Grace has a very long video on. I think it's one of the most informative Google format videos I've seen, but it's just about it's called innovation in one of Yu-Gi-Oh's oldest formats, and it just talks about how unless you're playing, the best players are gonna be playing Turbo and Warrior, and they're gonna be really hard to beat, especially in a mirror match, right? Mm-hmm. But by bringing a rogue strategy, you are a master at your own deck, and so you have more control over your own plays, and you're much harder to read when you do bring the rogue stuff. So I think that, in my eyes, is always going to be the appeal of rogue decks from like a competitive standpoint for me, because I just do like having like the ability to be a little less red, to flip that zing in game one, and they're like, what is going on? So yeah, it's definitely something like that's kind of why I think I like to play it. Is you can get wins by just having the element of surprise in your favor.
That is actually that's true, and it's actually a common trend that's popped up with every person I have spoke to on these episodes so far, is like the ability to control information, and that level of unpredictability. Like Jay spoke about this a lot as well with his like when he built out his ritual burn exchange list. The ability to be, you're the only one that knows what's happening, your opponent's sort of like having to figure it out on the fly. It can just be a really good advantage, and enough of an advantage to be able to, take out a tournament, take out 2 tournaments, take out 3 tournaments with, all these different unique strategies. So, that's really, really cool. On that note, what do you think is a couple of underexplored strategies right now that you could think, could do with some more growth? Do you think there's any approaches or any cards out there that are like sort of hidden gems that are just waiting to come out and play?
Oh, there's so many. Yeah, I mean, I think. I think there's some cards in some decks that are really underexplored. I think. I don't know. Well, like we'll take. There's a lot of options. So I think just in general in terms of like strategies, I think. I don't know. I think people really have explored the Go format. The community's been around for a long time, and people have explored a lot of different things, and we're seeing new things pop up all the time. So I kind of just want to like shout out like a few ones that I think are really cool and effective. One of them is Void's been building this like water goat control list, which I think it got a top in a GFC and an FLC if I remember correctly, and just no BLS, just like playing Aqua Spirit, and I think for a deck to do that well in 2 separate tournaments, I think is really impressive. I think probably in terms of a competitive sphere, like Gumo Sumo, easy to slay use lists, like that's taken the competitive world by storm, and I think people are playing in War League all the time now, and I saw people playing it at the GGP. But I remember playing Easy to Slay You on Ladder, and he was playing this deck like 3 years ago, just like an early version of it. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is like these decks take a long time to build, like and just kind of hone really on what works best. And so I think that deck is super. I think it's maybe not underexplored anymore, but I think it's quite good. I also want to shout out Fairies. Grace, pioneered the strategy, but I know it also tops in a recent GGP. And that's a really, really cool deck that I think more people should play. There's a lot of room to work with there. Just like being able to special summon so many cards like that, I think is really strong. And yeah, I gotta shout out also like a lot of my War League teammates who I think we'll maybe talk a little bit more later, but they're really just a lot of forward-thinking players trying out a lot of techniques. And then I also want to shout out Rixoff for his bringing Blast with a Chain and Gearfried to War League and not being afraid to play that, and it really have seen how strong that card is. He also has done really well in major tournaments with that as well. Yeah, I should have come with a more prepared list, and I could keep going on forever, but anyone who's ever tried something unique and dared to, bring in a weird tech or anything, shout out to you. The innovation in one of Yu-Gi-Oh's oldest formats is still very much a thing.
Yeah, there's been, as you said, there's a lot of strategies there that I even forgot existed. And you're right, they did have some really good performances, and they have shown to have, good strength in them. Another thing is like return, like those return lists, return from dimension and stuff. They've been, doing well again, and I think Ludi must have just won.
Yeah, shout out to Ludi too.
With his Strike Ninja, Return Warrior sort of, I'm not sure what you call that list, but it's obviously working. He's been getting results with it. So there are lots of cool strategies in there, and they all seem to be like individual to the person. Like people have come out, built them, and then gone and done really well with them time and time again, like Grace with the fairies, and I know he did some Flip Warrior stuff as well. And yeah, there's lots of cool strategies out there. So it's always really interesting to me that a format like GOATS has so many options that can be viable, and like you can steal a tournament or something. Like if you play in a well-built fairies list and go on a run, well, you get to play lots of good cards in that deck, and you pair that with a few hot hands as well, and you can just take you can win a tournament with these strategies that are well thought out and different than the norm. So so yeah, people out there that are watching, don't be afraid to cook.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Now Nova, you've played in the War League in the past. When I did some research, I believe you played in the earlier seasons before I was even really in the scene. But this is the first season as a captain. How have you found the first 7-8 weeks? How's the team finding it? Just give us a rundown of your experience and the team's experience so far, because you also have a few newer names on there to War League as well. Your wife's on there, which is awesome. I remember.
Shout out Mrs. Ethos.
Yes, I remember in the Academy League getting paired, and I was like, and then you jumped in the watches, and I was like, no way, is this Mrs. Evos? This is insane. I love it. Yeah. How's the whole experience been for you guys so far?
It's been so good. It's been really, really fun. I think, the team strikes such a good balance of like prioritizing, just like, everyone on the team like has their own lists that they like to play. And I want to encourage and empower them to do so. I trust each of them to bring like a lot of thought and research into each of their own builds, and they have. And it's really, really cool. I think we have some really bright minds on the team. But yeah, in terms of, I want to echo a point that MMF made on the last episode, which is just like, in terms of getting newer players, like just finding players that are active and want to be involved in the community is like a huge part of it. And what better place to look than the Academy League server? I think that is a good way to see because a lot of people don't have the energy to like sit down and like schedule a match and play through a Slifer, play through a Raw, play all to Obelisk. Like it definitely is for people who are really wanting to get a lot of games in, and it's a good way to do that. But pretty much the majority of the team recruited from the Academy League, and also just had seen around the Discord. And these are players, I think MMF used the word like hungry. Like these are players hungry to learn, hungry to play matches, and Grace and I are really close friends, and of course Mrs. Ethos, I had talked to her about the team before, and she seemed super interested, and so she's been playing as well, and with her own unique strategies as well. Shout out Desk Koala Aggro, great deck.
I love it. Good
but so I think the team's really good about just like supporting each other, and like in terms of like real life stuff as well. Like we're always checking with each other, kind of talking about what we're doing, and I think that makes it really wholesome. And I think the best feeling is like no matter who's playing a match, like there's always someone else in the team that's like in watchers, like supporting. Like there's always going to be someone online. So I think that's a really key part of it, and it makes it feel like a lot more like a team, for sure.
Yeah, and like user at the time of recording, as far as I know, 3-4 so far. So this is a impressive. Like you've got a good record, especially for a new team who's come into, well, newer teams, some newer names and that, and you've come into the most stacked sort of team tournament thing there is for goats, and stolen some wins there. Yeah. You're doing really, really good. How do you see the rest of the season going for you guys? Do you feel a few more wins on the table? Do you have any goals? Is it like you want to make playoffs? You want to make wild cards? What's the team's goal at the moment?
The number one goal is just to have fun, and to bring innovative strategies. Just to make the reason why we're called Otherworld. I don't know if it's obvious, but like if you go to like our deck profile for a team, like the biggest slice of the pie chart is other, because we don't have, we don't necessarily have our decks under traditional categories. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Oh, that's
so that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to make playoffs. I think that'd surprise a lot of people, maybe even including our own team. But yeah, we're gonna keep trucking. It's been a really at the end of the day, like I really do like providing an environment for newer players to learn the game and grow their competitive itch, because I feel like War League can be really like a kind of a rough environment to be in at times if you don't know where to go. So I just wanted to like provide a space to help new players just kind of learn the ropes, and not saying like these every duelist on the team I think is very capable, and I think our record at 3-4 has shown that so far. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll be in playoffs. But at the end of the day, I think we just found a good group with this team this year, and I think that we've bonded through everything we've done this season so far.
That's really good to hear, and hopefully you just keep coming back for more seasons. Yeah, it's really, really good. And
yeah, I think so.
Oh, do it. That'd be awesome. And just to touch on a point you said there as well, like having a that environment for some newer guys. And I was telling I think I haven't said this on air before. It is surprising to me. Well, it was surprising to me after I started popping out these podcast episodes. I would say at least, and this is being like generous, at least 15 occasions I've had people message me after an episode and like be very thankful and be like, oh, like I'm in, they're even in some War League teams. They might not be in the scene at all, and they're like, they're not scared, but they're like not comfortable either to like jump in the discords and ask questions and all those sort of things, just because if you're not familiar with the the banter side of the league and stuff like that, it can seem quite daunting. And the point I'm making is a lot of people have been in the DMs like thanking me, being like, oh, it's awesome to be able to hear from the people like yourself, Nova, and some of the other guys I've had on in these environments, and get to learn and get all the questions. What do you have to say to those guys? Is it like, because even me personally, I'm like, jump in the Discords, like don't be afraid. I know it's like if you look from the outside in, you can see all of the banter and stuff like that. In majority of the case, it's just exactly that banter between people who literally know each other in real life. And if you do ask, questions, or you have any thoughts you want to share, I'd say majority of the time you're not going to be shut down. But yeah, do you have anything to say to those guys who are like, they're wanting to get into the scene a little bit more? They don't quite know where to go yet. They might be not as comfortable yet to, ask their questions or share their thoughts in the Discords and stuff like that. Do you have any like words of advice to them?
Yeah, I'd say if they have like a desire to play more competitively and they haven't tried out the Academy League yet, I think the Academy League is a nice like step between the GOAT format server and the War League server. I think it's like a nice middle ground, and you can figure out if you really do like playing competitively, and Yeah, then I'd say if you feel like you really want uh, to try out War League, like reach out to me. Honestly, I've been in the War League since season 2, so I've seen a lot of it. Um, there's been a lot of there it could get there's a lot of drama and toxicity that can happen. So I get that it's intimidating, but you can there's a best of both worlds where you can exist and still play at the highest level of competition Go format has to offer while also like not engaging with that. So I've navigated that like for 6 seasons, and you just got to find your people. There are really good people in there, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it was just so cool to go to the GGP and like give hugs to like people I've seen and met through War League. Um, so yeah, I think that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, maybe there'll be a second Otherworld team if there's a lot of people who are really ready to play competitively. I definitely want to make sure that there's a place for those people, and um, you know, just a way to keep playing. Because yeah, I think maybe people with a team of a team of players where there's no one's ever seen them before. I think a lot of people expected us to have like no wins. Like in the preseason rankings, we were like second to last, and we're not that. So I think like a lot of good players just need to be, or all the new players just need to be given the chance to play at the highest level competitively, and I think they really bloom. So yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions about getting involved with that for sure. But I know Jesse's, yeah, you also are have just by making and having these conversations, like I think you're really opening up a lot of the mystery behind War League. Not that there's too much, but like I feel like you definitely can have a little bit more information about it out there. And I think they started posting more replays on like the Go Format channel about it. So yeah, all good things, all good things.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, guys. If you're, there could be another world team 2 next season. So
Yeah,
if you're out there and you're wanting to get into War League, and you don't know where to start, you can reach out to people, reach out to Nova, like he's just mentioned. I'm happy to help. There's lots of guys in the community that are happy to help and get you set up and point you in the right direction. And yeah, like let's keep the format growing, because ultimately we all share the same goal or dream of the format being growing, more people, more competition, more fun, all of those things. So yeah, Nova, I want to ask you one more question about your team. Who do you think is your up and comer? Do you have a team member who you're just like waiting on them to just like, waiting for everyone to catch on? Like, oh, this guy is actually really, really strong. Do you have a player like that on your team? Or like, who do you think is like, who has the biggest potential on your team right now, do you think?
well, that's a tough question. I'm gonna take the easy out and say honestly, all these players are on my team have such like I've already they've already told me, like multiple players on my team have already told me they've other teams have tried to poach them. So that's kind of funny. But that's War League.
Yep.
But that's why you gotta have a good team environment, because then people stay loyal. So it's great. It's really wholesome. Or not the poaching part, but just wanting to stay onto the team. But yeah, I mean, like just yeah, I mean, there's so many great team members with so many different levels of experience. Like we have Slim, who's like our alt win player, who is really really wholesome and a really good deck builder. We have Lubu, the inventor of Swag, which stands for Stein, Will, Archer. I forget what the G stands for. But yeah, a similar deck to the one that Sight plays.
Yeah. Yep.
So between the both of them, they've both proven that it's a really strong list. Um, and then we have Agori, of course, who's been playing really well this season, and he's definitely improving at a rapid rate. So watch out for him for sure. Doodad, love the guy. Like he's getting sacked left and right. He's just getting outdrawn. I feel bad because I think his record is not indicative of um, his performance. And same goes for Mrs. Ethos. I think she's been playing great, but also just getting a little outdrawn. But it happens. Everyone's been hanging tough. Shout out to Angel as well. He just got a big win for us this week playing like awesome skill drain deck. And then and I think I covered everyone. Me and Grace kind of just chill. We're the vets, so we've seen a lot. Shout out to everyone on the team. It's really an honor to be your captain, and they were all cheering me on during the GGP stream too. So it was really great.
Hell yeah, no, it's awesome, man. It sounds like you've got a real good team environment happening, and it's good to have you in the league, and we look forward to seeing you guys more in there. And on that note, while we're speaking about hot undiscovered players, I think he's starting to get discovered now. Envoy of Chaos. I have to give a shout out to one of my team members. He's only, he's not as known yet because he's only played War League competitively, and he's in his second season with us now. But I think he's going to continue. His record shows it in War League, but I think he could be a player that just takes the format by storm over the coming year. So you called it in. I'm calling it in advance, and when it happens, I'm going to link people back to this part of the video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to shout out your own team for sure.
Oh, for sure. And now, Nova, what's next for you for the rest of the season? We're a couple months off from Worlds. We're still in War League season. What is next for the play in Nova?
That's a good question. I mean, definitely want to finish out the World League season strong, and hopefully we'll make a good enough run for the rest of the season. So definitely want to prioritize that and making sure we still are fighting strong. But I mean, super busy in personal life right now. So don't have much time to play like I would love to play the multi-day FLC, but it just doesn't work with my schedule. So now that the World's invite is secured, probably other than War League, take a bit of a break. I mean, and then just a long road of prep for Worlds. I have so many ideas about what to play. Do I go the zombie route? Do I play Strike Ninja? Do I play what I played at the GGP? It really is going to be an interesting decision, and it's my first time ever getting a Worlds invite, so I'm just super excited to even have that. Continue to just be a part of the community for sure. Continuing to listen to this podcast, which is absolutely fabulous. I just want to shout that out really quick because after the departure of JDZ and Grace, there's been a bit of a lack of GOAT related content. Cub's been holding it down for sure, but with the emergence of this, I think more of a long form conversation piece with people in the community. I think it definitely helps the community grow, both with existing members as well as bringing in new ones. So shout out to you for setting this up. Really just a big fan of the pod.
No, pleasure, man, and pleasure to have you here as well, man. It's I very much get enjoyment out of running these, and even selfishly, I just get great self enjoyment from it, and if it helps GOAT format as a secondary, I'm happy with that as well, which is really good. No, it's good. It's from having these conversations. I think this is episode 6 now. And I've got the next few, few in the works. So I'm just looking forward to these, and it's pleasure to have you on, man. And thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jesse. Keep rocking these. They're super cool. I'll keep listening, spread the word. And thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No worries. And there you have it, guys. We heard from the GGP Maryland champion, Nova. If you have any further questions, pop them below. Like I said, I'll as I get notifications that they've come through, I'll pass them over to Nova, and he can jump into the YouTube chats as well. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer any personalized questions you guys may have for him there as well.